Hi, everyone. Here's a short preview for worship this coming Sunday, January 23rd. At the heart of our service this Sunday is a story from the 4th chapter of the Gospel of Luke that tells of Jesus sort of inaugurating his adult ministry. He's just been baptized. He just had his period of time in the wilderness, and he emerges, shows up at the synagogue, and reads from the scroll of Isaiah. And then it says he rolls up the scroll and declares to all of those who hear him, "This scripture has been fulfilled in your hearing." Fulfilled in your hearing. It's a very provocative statement for Jesus to make because, after all, he has not yet done anything. He hasn't healed anybody. He hasn't taught anybody anything. He hasn't challenged anybody. All of the events of his ministry, of his life that we hear about in the Gospels, all of that is still to come. But somehow, when he starts off there at the synagogue reading from Isaiah, he tells the crowd that everything that Isaiah has prophesied, that all of those things have already come to pass in that moment, in their hearing of the scripture. What does that even mean? What does it mean? I have been thinking about West Side Story as I've been thinking about that scripture. There's an amazing new version of West Side Story by Steven Spielberg, and it has made me think about that story so vividly. Do you know it? Are there any other Broadway musical fans in the congregation? Maybe you know the story from the Shakespeare play Romeo and Juliet, on which it is based. Either way, the point is, in this story, early on in the story, there's a scene that takes place in a gymnasium where there's a dance. And there's two groups that have been fighting with each other. And at the dance at the gym, they're going to negotiate a time and a place for a rumble. So they are planning a big fight that will resolve, they hope, this conflict once and for all, winner take all. Lots of negotiations around that conflict and how that fight is going to happen. And in the midst of all of that, two people arrive at the dance, Tony and Maria. In the Shakespeare play, it's Romeo and Juliet. And Tony and Maria see each other from across the gymnasium, and they fall in love immediately. Somehow, this world that they're in, that where everybody is caught up in this conflict and the negotiations around the resolution of that conflict, somehow Tony and Maria are out of that world all of a sudden, and they are in a different place. They're in a place where love is the language and the law. Somehow out of one world and into another. Scripture is fulfilled in your hearing. Something is already resolved. Something is already complete at the very, very beginning of Jesus' ministry. Let's look at that on Sunday. Does that world, does that place of resolution ever show up in your life, in mine, in our life together? See you Sunday.